Hey guys, so here's a With Heroes video on my favorite topic, and that is team building. I think there's a lot of strategy and thought that can go into building an interesting and strong team. And if you like strategy games, I think this is what With Heroes really does well, and that's just so many options for viable team compositions. You could always just go copy another player or, you know, just pick based on theme and things like that. But in this video, I just wanted to give some hints or ideas as to what to look at when building a team and what should take priority, what's really important. And I think in this video, I'll do an example. Like, I'll build a team for us just randomly based on these factors that I'm going to talk about. But before we start, there are two things that I didn't mention in this. I didn't plan to mention in this video, but I'll do at the very beginning. Let's call them factors in team building. The first one is strength of hero. Like, I probably should have added it, but I just thought, if something changes, like if a hero gets nerfed or buffed, then I'll have to remake the video, right? So I didn't want to make this as like an important factor. But obviously, if there's a really OP hero, you can decide to build around that. But we're not going to take that into consideration. We're not going to like say build around OP heroes. And the other thing was, what heroes you just happen to get a ton of copies of. So like one time I started the game, I pulled tons of chests, and for some reason, it really wanted me to build like Vlad Tepes or something. It just kept giving me copies and copies and copies. If that happens to you, yeah, you can build around it because you have so many copies, or you can say, forget what the game gives me, and I'll just use tickets to build what I want. And I didn't take that in consideration when making this video, so neither of those things are the factors that I'm going to be talking about today. All right, so the first factor when I talk about team building is going to be synergy. So you have a couple of options here. I'm looking at either one full synergy, dual synergy, which just means two, or dual synergy and plus one OP or one healer, which I don't want to talk too much about, but I just put it out there. So let's talk about the first option, one synergy. It is possible to build teams of only one synergy. The game actually promotes that through link buffs. Each hero, like if you look at Valkyrie, will have, or these are synergies, by the way. I should explain what synergies are. Burn, silence, bleed, poison, restrain, petrify. These are the synergies in the game, and each hero is assigned to one. Inside of that synergy, each hero also provides a percentage buff to a stat to every other hero in that synergy. So if you have an Asura, even if it's not on your team and you're running Burn, all your other Burn heroes are getting 2% extra defense because you have a 1-star Asura. And these level up, by the way. So every star level, they go up in percentage. So this is probably the most important part of team building to take into consideration. Like, what synergy do you want to run? What sounds interesting to you? And let's go ahead and move on. Dual synergy. You can even mix two of them together. I think it's still viable to have two separate synergies in case you want to pull heroes from different synergies, or maybe you don't have enough. I think as the game progresses and the farther you get, you'll have even more than two. It's very possible you have more than two synergies, maybe 3 or 4, because you're trying to get mythic heroes. But this video is for newer players, right? So if you're a newer player, stick to one synergy or two synergies. And the last option was a dual synergy plus an OP or a healer. So the OP I already talked about, like maybe there's something broken you just have to have on your team. It doesn't matter about the synergy buffs. But the healer one I mentioned because healers don't really do damage. They're not like meant to do damage. So the extra damage to a certain type of like condition, like bleeding or shock or things like that, won't apply to a healer. So you can probably add a healer from any faction and it won't make a big difference. Like, you won't lose out on too much. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the next one that I like to consider when making a team is rarity. Like, if you're a free-to-play player, you're probably going to be on the more mystery heroes than mythic heroes side of this. If you're on the like pay to win, you're probably going to have like no mystery heroes. Like if you're a whale, you probably will have no mystery heroes because honestly, mythic and legend just tend to be better. And if you're in the middle, you know, then you're probably going to have like 1 to 2 mystery, 1 to 2 legend, 1 to 2 mythic, right? So, or yeah. So I put like a good little like, it's kind of like a graph, you know, like a trend, depending on how much you spend, where you should invest on rarity, because it's impossible to have all 6 mythic at the beginning, right? You'll fall behind. You need levels on your heroes, which means you need shards, and it's just much easier to level up mystery heroes. All right, moving on. I said a lot in a short amount of time there, but I'm sure you guys already get it. Classes. So obviously, any well-rounded team comp is going to have different classes. So you're going to have 1 to 2 tanks, and these are almost, I think they're always warriors. That's this up here. Then you're going to have 1 healer. I very rarely see people run 2 healers, just because it's unnecessary. Like in other modes outside of PvP, you want damage, right? So most people don't run 2 healers. So I just put 1 healer, and these are called supporters in the game, and that's this symbol right here. Then lastly, you're going to have 3 to 4 DPS, which is just damage healers. Those are assassins, mages, and rangers, and some warriors. So you're going to have, most of your team comp is going to be built around damage dealing heroes. So definitely be looking for those. That's a well-rounded team, you know? Alright. Another thing we're going to talk about is faction, and that's where I'm going to move over to the dungeon real quick. So factions are really important. They're called team buff in the game. I call them factions. But they have a ton of options. The only problem is the options are bad. Like the buffs they give you are just not nearly as good as Assemble. Almost every single player in this game runs Assemble because it is way better than having 6 of the same. Look at this, 5% attack, 3% hit. Assemble gives you 15, 15, 5. It's too hard to pass up on. You can make great teams with Assemble, so why not, right? These are really good buffs. I'm not saying don't do any of these other team buffs, but you have to have a good reason to. Like you really have to have a great idea for a team comp to not build Assemble, which is 5 heroes of different factions, and then you have 6 heroes on the team, so you have 1 of whatever faction you want. Alright, the last thing I'm going to mention for factors is formation. So formation is this over here, this 2-4, 4-2, 3-3, 1-5, and 5-1. Most people run with a 3-3 or a 2-4. I very rarely see 4-2 and 1-5 and 5-1. And the reason for this is what I talked about earlier is the classes. Is you're usually going to have 1 to 2 tanks or healers, or maybe 3, and then you're mostly going to have DPS, damage dealers. And most damage dealers want to be in the back line because they don't want to get hit by those auto attacks in the front line, right? So most people... And there's a lot of heroes that buff the entire backline, you know? So the opposite is true as well, though. There's a lot of heroes that hit the entire front line, or entire backline. So you have to watch out for that as well. So also, the last thing to consider is formation, based on the heroes that you have. So that basically sums up all the factors. It was formation, faction, which was the team buff, class, the rarity, and the synergy. So now let's go ahead and pretend I'm making a new team that I've not played before. I'm just trying to build a random team. First thing we remember was we can use the filter. Let's look at synergy. And I'll use restrain as our example because like no one runs it. And I don't want to I want to make something new, right? So we can already see we've got a good mix of classes. We have everything available to us in just Restrain if we wanted to make a 1 synergy. So I'll start with a 1 synergy team. Let's go ahead and look for remember the first one was synergy, we did that. Now let's look for class and rarity. So let's start with class actually. We've got Tutankhamun as the tank. I think we should run him because I don't see very many other tanky heroes here. And he's also a mystery hero, so we can checkmark that. We've got a mystery tank hero. Now let's look for our healer. Do we have any healing options? We have Joan of Arc and we have Huang Di. Oh no. Oh, don't do that. Okay. Um, I don't have Huang Di. Oh, great. I knew it was going to do that. I don't have Huang Di personally, so I'd probably have to go Joan of Arc. But say you had Huang Di, I would probably pick him, right? So let's wait for this to load again. Sorry about that, guys. The game doesn't like it when you're on for like more than 30 minutes or something. There we go. We're back. Back to Restrain. So let's go ahead and pick Huang Di, Tutankhamun. So now we have a... We're also really looking for factions as well, right? So we have a purple, a blue. Let's pick up Odin for a damage dealer because I know he's good. So now we have a yellow. We have to go Shaka, but we have space for another damage dealer and a mystery, so that's good. So that's green. Now the last one we're missing is red, and we have lots of options. Oh, sorry, we have Justice Bow as healer too, but we probably need more damage. So let's go Hanzo. So now we have Hanzo, Tutankhamun, Odin, Huang Di, and Shaka. So we've got our 5 factions. We've got 1 healer, we've got 1 tank, and we've got 2 damage dealers. Now if we're more like pay to win friendly, we'll probably pick up at the Spider Girl. If we're more free to play friendly, we'll probably pick up another damage dealer. Maybe Queen Sheba's pretty strong. Also, you had the option to drop Hanzo, go Justice Bow, and then pick up like for sure pick her up. That could have worked too. But then you're running 2 healer, which is iffy, right? So let's go ahead and see what that looks like in a formation. Fortunately, let's go ahead and do Force. We know we want Shaka, right? He's restrained. Frost, we know we're running Huang Di. Let's just put Joan of Arc because I don't have Huang Di. For Flame, we were looking at Hanzo. For Holy, we're looking at we're Odin. And then for Chaos, we'll pick up the Spider Lady and Tutankhamun, right? Yeah, for our tank. So our team would look something maybe like this, a 2-4 if we wanted to run that. See, we have a healer and a tank in the front, and then 4 damage dealers in the back. You can read up on their skills to see what they're better in. Maybe you're like, this is too much damage for me. Take out Huang and put in Justice Bow and do a 3-3. You have a 1-5 potential with this as well. This wouldn't be that bad. He has a resurrection, so you'd have to make sure you build around him. Anyway, this would be like a 1 synergy, restrain, 5. You've got your factor for formation as a 1-5. You've got a good mix of mystery, legend, and mythics. This is this is rough as a free to play. Obviously, if you're free to play, probably take this one out and put in Queen Sheba or something, or this guy. This is more free to play friendly and still pretty strong. So, what else do we have? We've got everything. We've got good class balance. So this would be 1 synergy. Now let's give an example of maybe dual synergy, right? So in a dual synergy, we would be looking at. Let's take our strongest points. So our strongest is probably, this is later, Odin, Huang Di, and Atlachna or whatever. So let's take those 3. So you have a yellow, you have a blue, and you have a purple. So now you're looking for a red and a green, and you need a tank, right? So let's go mythic red and green, and we need a tank. For sure we need a tank. Oh, that's rough. So let's go ahead. Oh, I was about to say, it's because I still have restraint on. We've got good options. We've got Gilgamesh, which is really strong. We've got Siegfried if we wanted to go freeze. I mean, we're also missing a holy hero, I think. Yeah. Oh no, we're missing forest and flame. Let's go Siegfried. You know? Yeah, let's go Siegfried. Oh, See, this is where you have to like look around. I like Gilgamesh a lot. You know what? Let's go Gilgamesh then. So we'll go Gilgamesh, and he is stun, I believe. So now we're looking for a good stun hero that can round out our team. And you've got Wukong. So ooh, no, we can't. We needed a red. Can't go Gilgamesh, guys. How about Freeze? Does Freeze have a red? Or sorry, have a green? Yeah. But I don't like that one too much. How about Shock? Shock has Thor, and this would be great. So now you have Thor, Zhugelong, and then you could run Zeus. So this is for like a late game team, right? You add a second synergy. The team is a lot harder to pull off, but still pretty strong. So we take these guys out. We put in our forest is Zug, who we know is really strong. Our holy is Zeus, who we know could be OP. And we said Thor, right? Where's Thor at? So now we have 3. And we're picking up... Go back to... Spider Lady. And we have everything we need from there. And I would pick Zhugelong, right? And so your team would be a 2-4, which is good because you want Thor and someone else in the front. I guess we could pick up another tank. Yeah. Or you would have Huang Di, who is really good. I don't have him. But you guys get the idea. Put Huang Di in the front, these 4 in the back, and you have a shock / restrained team. That's how I go about building teams, right? Look at, like, the reason I went for 2-4 formation is because I know Zhugelong hits the entire backline and then buffs the attack of the entire backline for each one he hits. That's really strong, so you want as many in the backline as you can get. I will admit the front line is kind of weak, but you have 2 healers, right? So it's hopefully going to make up for that weak front line. It's sad I don't have that hero. Would have been great to actually see the full team. But we've got everything we wanted on all our factors. So that's just a quick strategy on how to build, how I go about team building. And I think with heroes gives you a lot of options. Like there's so many different teams you can build following this template. And I think would be strong. So if you really want to dig more into it, you start looking at what heroes are OP, what synergies, like, not like the synergy like Burn, Silence, or whatever, but like the synergies between the heroes, like, all right, this one increases double attack and this hero does more damage with double attack. You want to look into those things as well, but that's way too much for this short video. But anyway, think about that stuff. This is the main reason I love this game, guys. It's just so much strategy and so many. I wish I could try them all out, but of course I need resources to do that. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video. See y'all later.